Hi, I'm Sunny, and this is my podcast, Creator, Created, Creating. Short and sweet mindset shifts for intentional life creation. Yes, you get to ask for what you want the way you want it. But, ... So I had a little mini aha the other day, and I just was laughing at myself. And I wanted to share my moment of laughing at myself in case it causes a mini aha for you too. So we get to ask for what we want the way we want it, but we're afraid. So a lot of us are afraid. I have been afraid to ask for things for the way that I want them, because in my experience, when I asked for things the way that I wanted them instead, or just at all, that wouldn't go well. People would respond with defensiveness. People would respond with feeling hurt about it, or unhappy about it, or judging me about it, or whatever. So basically, people would have feelings about it. Hey, go figure. And we don't want people to have feelings about it. We just want to be able to say what we want and what we need, and have that understood and met. And you can ask for things to be understood and met the way you want them, but you don't get to control people's reactions to that. You don't get to control their feelings about that. But you do get control over you and what you do with that information. So, for example, let's see. What's a good recent example? Oh, okay. So, for example, Kenny, my husband, does the laundry around here, and he washes all my nightgowns, which I love and appreciate so very much. But I have a very specific way that I need them hung on the line outside, and I need the pockets to be tucked in so they don't dry all weird shapen. And I need them to be hung by the shoulders from the clothespins instead of draped over the thing. So I have a specific way that I want that done. Now, I can ask for that, and I did do that. But I don't get to, but I notice, so what I notice, whenever something like that comes up, I notice in me, before I even ask, I'm already defending and going into a war in my head about getting defensive because I'm waiting for a negative reaction, even if he's never had a negative reaction to something like that before. I'm not saying he hasn't. He has, but some things he totally doesn't. So, but I'm already preparing. I'm already making my case. And I'm just kind of going into defense because that's my mind. That's my mind stuff, trying to get out ahead of the situation and control the way he feels and control his reaction and control the way that people feel about what I ask for and what I need. And I cannot do that. So I was laughing at myself about that. Oh, yep. There's my ego, thinking it can control that. Now that doesn't mean that you just get to that means that you get 100% responsibility for what you do with whatever they do about that. So if it's something a lot more, so for me, before I go into that, for me, I ask myself, is him not hanging my nightgowns exactly the right way that I want them every single time grounds for divorce? No, not for me. Not for me, it's not, because he's such a beautiful and loving partner in every way, and he doesn't do my laundry perfectly. That's completely okay with me. It's absolutely not grounds for divorce. But Can I ask for that? Yes, I can. So, and then let what happens with that happen and deal with that one thing at a time. So, but if somebody is dealing with something that's much more serious, or that it's even the same situation, but it's dead serious to them because it's like just symptom of so many other things or something like that, then you don't get to control what that person does with that if they don't do that right, or if they're not open to even doing that thing at all, what you've asked for. Then you have a choice about what you're going to do with that information. You get to remove yourself from that situation, remove yourself from that, or another solution, or you get help somewhere else for that particular thing that you really thought you needed that person to do. Or there's endless options, but at that point, the responsibility is not at that point, always. The responsibility is 100% with you to ask for what you need. And then if somebody cannot give that or will not give that for whatever reason, or feels defensive about that, or gets hot and bothered about it for 5 minutes and then does it fine after that, which has been the case in my marriage lots of times. Because yes, me and him both have been defensive about one or the other of us asking us for something needed, because we're so used to feeling like we're wrong and making ourselves wrong that when somebody suggests that we've done something wrong, we jump down the other person's throat for a second. Like, I didn't do that. I did this. I tried to, you're trying to defend yourself because you're feeling wrong. So we have compassion for each other in that moment. We have compassion for ourselves in that moment. Like, oh, I'm defending because I'm feeling like I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. This person's just asking for something a different way. That's all. It's not personal. But we get personal. We get reactive. It's okay. So where was I going with that? Anyway, the responsibility is 100% with me at all times what I do. So if it was something really serious, and it was something that was like, this is a deal breaker for me, then that is with me to do something about. So we do get to ask for what we want, but we don't get to control people's reactions to that. And we do get to be, and that also applies that we do get to be who we are in the world, and we do get to believe what we believe in the world, and we do get to have our own reality be what our own reality is. And we do get to identify with what we want to identify with and not identify with what we don't identify with, but we don't get to control people's reactions about that. We don't get to control people's feelings about that. We don't get to control their views of us or about that. And that's hard, but it's so freeing when you remember it and give yourself the ability and give yourself the permission to laugh about it, to laugh at yourself about it. It really helps me. Because not only that, so then we can even take a broader view and just apply that to manifesting and creating. Like, we get to ask for what we want. We get to intend on what we want, but we don't get to control the specific outcomes of that. When we ask for what we want, it takes us on a journey. So when I asked, when I ask for something I want in my life and I put it on my manifesting list, my creation list, then that starts taking me on a journey. It starts taking me through some experiences that are going to take me into that reality. Same as when I ask Kenny to do my laundry, hang my nightgowns in a certain way and tuck in the pockets. Like, when I ask for something a different way, that's going to take me on a little journey. And what it's going to take me to first is, oh, look at me. I have all this resistance in me that's just expecting a fight every time I ask for what I need, or expecting some kind of hurtness around asking for what. Oh, look, I didn't realize that I was expecting people to be hurt about what I need. Oh, I've recognized it before, but here it is again. Here it is in this little tiny, everyday, mundane thing. So, wow, okay, and that's an opportunity for me to go, oh, okay, I see. You want to be able to ask for things that you need without getting attacked. Of course. but you can't control how people feel. So you can let yourself feel however you feel about it, and you can be and let them feel however they feel about it, and you can do what you need to do for you, because I'm with you. I'm with you. And then you stay with yourself. So that's all I had to share about that. I hope it was helpful. Bye. Oh, and P.S., big P.S. here. I really wanted to also cover how when we take care of that defensiveness first within us, and we let go of that trying to control the outcome within us first before we do the asking, it makes a world of difference in how that goes. So an example of how you would do that, or how, I guess I'll just give you an example of how I do that, is I realize I get clear on why I'm attached to that certain thing, and I walk it out. So like how I do it is, okay, the worst that can happen is this person doesn't respect that, or they don't want to do it, or they have a bad reaction. And then what? Well, then I might feel upset for a minute, and I might take care of my own emotions in my own way, and then I'll be okay. And then I'll do it myself with peace in my heart, because that's what I want for me. Or I'll get it done some other way, or I will bring it up again at a later time when we're both more calm and less triggered and less defensive, or like whatever I go through, and I just walk that out and say that, okay, I'm going to be fine. Like no matter how this reaction goes, it's going to be fine. And what that does is detaches me from being so attached to the outcome. And in that space, all of a sudden this free space is opened up, and there's no more defensiveness. So then when I ask, things tend to go just way more smoothly. And sometimes when I've already asked and I didn't clear it up first, and I was coming in with defensiveness, then I get met with defensiveness. Then I go back, I clean it up within me, and I figure that out within me. And then magically, the whole situation will turn around, because our reality is a reflection of our inner state, and our reaction to what's happening in our reality is a reflection of our inner state, more importantly, so that no matter what is happening, how you're interpreting that happening is different. So like if something that you didn't want to happen happens, you're not interpreting that as like, I'm wrong, I'm bad, I can never get what I want, nothing ever goes my way. Like you're not making all of these things out of it. You're more neutral, and you're more in a different space towards what's happening. So it's always going to shift your reality, whether the person shifts, the situation shifts, or you shift. And usually it's all of the above in my experience. And sometimes it's not maybe the exact situation that you wanted to reflect the change within you, or the exact person that you wanted to reflect the change within you, but it will reflect back to you through one thing or the other. You just have to keep your eyes open for it, and just focus on your inner state. Don't focus on out there. Come back to your inner state. So I just wanted to say that, because it boggles my mind to this day, the power of me clearing something up in me, and then just watching my reality and the external situation that was fully triggering before totally shift and change, and these little magical things happen. And I recognize the difference when I've actually let go of something within me, or I've actually laughed at myself and shifted that energy, or to when I'm trying to, but I'm still holding on. And how I know is by how tense I am. If I'm tense in any way, then I'm still holding on to it. And if I'm not tense, then I've let it go. That's when I know that has actually shifted. And that's when the reality actually shifts, which is hard to get to. So be compassionate with yourself when you're just still tense and you can't let go of the tense. Just be with that tenseness and let it be there, and be like, oh, I understand. I understand why you're reacting this way, and I understand why you're feeling this way. This is what's happened to you. I get it. And I love you. and it's going to be okay. We can do something. We can have a different experience now. And just speak to yourself with love. All right. End of PS. Thanks for joining me today. And if you'd like to find out more about me and my work, you can find me at sunnychapman.com.